SummerSlam 2024 is in the books, and obviously, this is the biggest story coming out of SummerSlam. Is the return of the OTC, the original tribal chief, the head of the table, Roman Reigns. Bloodline rules in the main event for the WWE Undisputed Championship against Solo for the better part of 4 months as Roman Reigns lost the championship to Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 40. You had Solo Sikoa be this self-appointed tribal chief, and throughout the months we've seen him recruit new members, Tungaloa, Tama Tonga, and Jacob Fatu. They've done nothing but wreck shop. Matter of fact, Jacob Fatu, I think, is on Tama Tonga. Jacob Fatu became the new WWE World Tag Team Champions on Friday Night SmackDown when they defeated DIY, Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. So there's a lot that we got to peel back on this particular episode. Like, I'm a big time wrestling fan. There's so much to talk about. So we got that going on with the bloodline, and the bloodline is look like it's going to be a civil war. We're going to see that come to a head at Survivor Series. We might see the return of the Usos, right? And there might be another individual that joins Roman Reigns' stable. And then you got, obviously, Jacob Fatu, and I think that man is a beast, man. That man is an athletic freak. What's up, Tyler Brown? Jacob Fatu is man, he is a fucking beast, bro. So you got Jacob Fatu, and then you got Solo Sikoa, and Tama Tonga Tungaloa, and there's another guy that's in that family that just got signed to WWE. So we'll have to see how he fits into this whole story. And then there's the Paul Heyman angle, right? There's that too. We also witnessed the implosion of the Judgment Day. In the opening bout, we saw Liv Morgan take on Rhea Ripley, and Liv Morgan was on this Liv Morgan Revenge tour, and Rhea Ripley, she came back from injury, and she hadn't been pinned in 2 years, and she hadn't lost the championship. She had to give up the championship due to injury. Well, ever since Rhea Ripley had to give up her championship to injury, we've seen Dominic, but messing around, getting involved in Liv Morgan's affairs. And it's this, drip campaign to where you see Dominic at first had put up a lot of resistance, and then as time went on, the resistance started to wear down, and he found himself in different situations, very potentially uncompromising situations with Liv Morgan. Now, so we thought that this was going to be over and done with between the three when he cussed her out in Spanish in the ring, and he was, and he left with Rhea Ripley. So for that to go down to SummerSlam, when he took the chair away from Rhea Ripley, and I'm like, okay, he's trying to help her. He's trying to help her win the championship and not get her disqualified. But then he brings the chair back into the ring, and then distracts the referee as Liv Morgan hits the Oblivion on Rhea Ripley. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? What's up, Josh Johnson? And they count to three, and he goes away smiling, only for him to come back, and then he kissed Liv Morgan right in front of Rhea Ripley. I'm like, oh, what the fuck is that shit? So, and that wasn't even it. When it came to that, that wasn't even that. Because later on in the night, you had Damian Priest going against Gunther, and outside of the and to me, outside of the CM Punk and Drew McIntyre match, we'll talk about that a little bit. That was my favorite match. That Damian Priest Gunther match, that was my favorite match, man. Hands down, that was my favorite match. That was my favorite match. I mean, the story was told on so many levels. You had and where he had blood coming down his chest or whatever like that, Gunther, right? And it was just a hard hitting, knockdown, drag out, rock 'em, sock 'em matchup. I loved that match. Now I didn't like the finish because as Damian Priest got his second win, Finn Balor then turns around and stabs Damian Priest in the back. And then Damian Priest, not focused on the task at hand, want to rip goddamn on Finn Balor's lungs out to where he gets hit with the power bomb and then he passes out from the sleeper hole. And now you have a brand new world heavyweight champion in Gunther. Now it'll be interesting to see because anytime Gunther has held the championship, he's had some long championship reigns. When he won the NXT UK championship, he had that for like almost 2 years. Well, I take that back. He had that belt for over 2 years. And then when he won the Intercontinental Championship, he held that belt for almost 2 years. So with the transition to Netflix and Netflix executives want Roman Reigns on Netflix for Monday Night Raw, it's going to be real interesting to see where this goes. It'll be interesting to see the evolution of the Gunther character, to see if, how he'll defend the championship and who's going to be the competitors, because he has a long list. Whether you think about Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, um, Sheamus, even though they've had some knockdown, drag out fights, but I don't see Sheamus fighting Gunther anymore because he already came out and said he don't want to get involved in that. Jey Uso. I mean, there's just a laundry list of characters that can go in there. Sami Zayn, now that he's relinquished the Intercontinental Championship to Braun Breaker, right? To me, that was my least favorite match. Now, if there was any match I fell asleep on, it was that one. I just wasn't a fan of that match. That was my least favorite match, personally. So you had Liv Morgan beating Rhea Ripley in the opening bout, and Dom Mysterio, Dirty Dom, do some dirty deeds on his mommy. And then the next match was Braun Breaker against Sami Zayn, which Braun Breaker became the new Intercontinental Champion. Then the next match you had Logan Paul going against L.A. Knight. Yeah. And it's good to see L.A. Knight finally win the championship. He deserves it. I know a lot of people, they be getting all mad, talk about, oh man, he just a knockoff version of The Rock and Stone Cold, man. Damn all that. Damn all that. He's entertaining, and at the end of the day, when you watch wrestling, we want to be entertained. So I'm happy that LA Knight finally won the United States Championship off Logan Paul. Deal with it. Let me see. You had the women's championship match between Nia Jax and Bailey, and that was a good match. I thought Tiffany Stratton was going to cash in the Money in the Bank contract on Nia Jax. I really thought she was going to cash it in on her, but I think that's going to draw the story out. I think eventually Tiffany Stratton's going to turn on Nia Jax and cash in that contract on her. Especially after Nia Jax won the championship and Tiffany Stratton was celebrate with Nia, and you just noticed that she just, if you really paid attention, Tiffany Stratton was just looking at the belt the whole time. So they got that going on between those two individuals, and that's going to be a storyline that's going to get drawn out over time. Um, yeah, I agree with you, Josh Johnson. I think Bailey was kind of stale as a champion or whatever like that. She really didn't have any compelling matches. Um, I would thought that she would have gone up against Bianca Belair at some point to put a button on that rivalry. I thought there would have been a heel turn from Bianca Belair, but we never really got the heel turn. We just got um, her and Jay Cargill together, and with them losing to a team that really, if you really think about it, if you really keep things a stack, I mean, that team had no business beating Jay Cargill and Bianca Belair. And of course, there had to be some shenanigans, whatever like that, for them to lose. Some new person just comes out of nowhere and helps Amber Fire beat Bianca Belair and Jay Cargill. So I think I'm gonna go back to being singles competitors or whatever like that. And who knows, we might get Bianca Belair and Jay Cargill at WrestleMania next year. Sign me up. Anyway, so Nia Jax the new champ, whatever like that. Then we get to this matchup, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, and this has been going on for several months now. This thing between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. For several months, there's been verbal fisticuffs, there's been physical fisticuffs, and there's been mind games. And then threw when you threw in Seth Rollins, and you just made this powder cake even more combustible. And in that matchup, there was a lot of emotions on all sides, even with the special guest referee, is Seth Rollins. There was so many layers of emotion, whether it been about um, Drew McIntyre taking CM Punk's bracelet, um, and Drew McIntyre had this long-standing beef with CM Punk, and then CM Punk having this long-standing beef with Drew McIntyre, and Drew McIntyre still pissed off as CM Punk was costing him you know multiple championship wins. You have Seth Rollins who can't stand either one of them, and I think CM Punk and Seth Rollins is a WrestleMania 41 type match. Just saying. I think Seth Rollins and CM Punk is going to go at it at WrestleMania 41. Just in case you don't know, WrestleMania 41 is going to be held in Las Vegas in I say around the 19th and 20th, if I'm not mistaken. So, so back to the match. Um, what you saw in that match was CM Punk letting his emotions get the better of him. If you remember, he had a similar encounter with a little twist with Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar. If you remember the SummerSlam 2013 match he had with Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman, and instead of Punk focusing on the task at hand, he let the distraction get the better of him. And that's how he ended up losing that match to Brock Lesnar. You fast forward 11 years later, same thing. The bracelet. Punk in his hot head, he was more focused on the bracelet and not focused on the task at hand. Because he had the Anaconda device on Drew McIntyre. He took off the bracelet. Uh, Somehow the bracelet ended up on the mat, and then Seth Rollins picks up the bracelet. Now, for me, I think that Rollins was picking up the bracelet to where, it don't get damaged throughout the course of the match or it don't get lost in the mat. CM Punk took it the wrong way, in my opinion, and Punk taking it the wrong way with Seth Rollins and then putting him in the GTS, that ultimately cost him the match. What's up, Reef? Yeah, man, that's SummerSlam was off the chain, man. Like I said, there's so many layers to to peel back the onion on or whatever like that. But yeah, man. Um, Me personally, I don't think that match is over with. I don't think that's over with by a long shot. Drew McIntyre might try to put it behind him, but then again, when he took the bracelet and he put the bracelet back on his wrist and he walked off, he kissed it. He kissed the bracelet right over CM Punk's body, and then leaves with the bracelet. It's not over yet. That feud is far from over. And then you got the whole thing with Punk and Rollins. Once again, there's no love lost between those two. So we're just gonna have to see how this thing plays out over time. I talked about the Damian Priest and Gunther match, and how Finn Balor turned on Damian Priest, and so the Judgment Day, as we know it, is over with. That faction is has already imploded. There's no more Judgment Day as we know it, and we're going to see the unraveling is complete, but we're going to see the fallout from that unraveling on Monday Night Raw. A triple threat, yeah, I can see a situation where there'll be a triple threat. I can see a situation where there's a triple threat, but eventually you're going to have to work. It's going to have to work towards CM Punk versus Rollins at WrestleMania, because that's where I think that is going to end up going. What's up, Jonathan McFarlane? I can see a situation where maybe they have a triple threat match at Survivor Series or something like that. Or at some point, CM Punk gets his bracelet back from McIntyre. But eventually they're going to start working that angle to where Punk and Rollins go at it at WrestleMania. Maybe not for the championship, because really you don't need the championship on either one of them, because both of them can. I mean, the storyline's so good that you don't need to put the championship with either one of them. And that's one thing I've seen what Triple H has done. There's more long-term storytelling. There's no these microwave storytelling, whatever like that. You get these repetitive matches under Vince McMahon. This is long-term storytelling. Storytelling has many layers, and then it will come to a head at whatever pay-per-view that's going to come to a head at. And then we get to the we talked about the main event, right? Because obviously this is the elephant in the room. Through all that stuff that was going on at SummerSlam, through the whole 4 hour extravaganza, this is the most dominating story coming out of SummerSlam. This is the elephant in the room. The return of the original tribal chief, Roman Reigns. We knew the bloodline was going to get involved because it's bloodline rules. Same thing they had at WrestleMania, right? And you saw over the course of weeks and months how Kevin Owens got taken out, how Randy Orton got taken out, the friendship that and mentorship that Cody has with Kevin Owens from the friendship angle, Randy Orton from the mentorship angle. Because remember, Cody and Ted DiBiase Jr. and Randy Orton was part of that group called Legacy back in the day. Randy Orton was a psycho, right? And if you ask me, that's my favorite version of Randy Orton right there when he was, you know, bald headed, being psychotic and all that type of shit. But anyway, so during that match, it wasn't a matter of if the bloodline was going to get involved. It was a matter of when they was going to get involved, and we saw that play out. You had the tag team of Tonga Lore and Tama Tonga. They came in, they work on Cody Rhodes or whatever like that. Cody kicks out, right? Um, Kevin Owens, Randy Orton came down. They got their licks in, chased those two out of the arena. Okay, Cody's getting ready to do his trifecta on the crossroads, and that's when Jacob Fatu comes on. Jacob Fatu comes on, and I'm telling you, man, that moonsault he does, it's the same one that Tiffany Stratton does, where they get up to the second rope, jump up to the top rope, and do a moonsault. The fact that that man is that big and pull off that move, I'm telling you, man, that motherfucker is a goddamn beast, man. You DDT his ass, he just like it's like it almost like wakes him up and shit. Jacob Fatu is gonna be a major player in WWE for a long time. He is a motherfucking beast. Now the only thing with Jacob Fatu is he can't go to events outside of the United States because he was a convicted felon at one point or another. So any event outside the U.S., right? Unless he get a waiver or something like that, is unlikely Jacob Fatu is going to be able to participate in those events. I could be wrong, but from the information I was able to gather and obtain from that, I don't think he can go outside the United States with him being a convicted felon or being an ex-con or whatever like that. But anyway, one thing I'm surprised about, I was surprised that we didn't see Jimmy Uso. That was one shock. I know Roman Reigns came back or whatever like that, but I was shocked that Jimmy Uso didn't come back. I thought that Jimmy Uso would have come back and extracted some revenge because he was like one of the first ones that got taken out by this new bloodline faction. Same thing with Jey Uso, but I can see a situation where over time, Roman Reigns mid fences, and then as time goes on, they put their differences aside, mend the fences, whatever like that. They bring him Paul Heyman at some point, and you're gonna get this old original bloodline versus the new bloodline at Survivor Series. That's what we're gonna get. What's up, Chi-Town King, Trey Brown? You said the car was okay? Yeah, yeah. It was good. It was good. It was good. You say Sami Zayn comes back to the bloodline. I really don't see that happening. I can see that. I can see a situation where they can like help each other out from. But do I really? want Sami Zayn to come back to the bloodline? No. Do we need Sami Zayn back in the bloodline? No, we don't need that. We don't need that. Um, Another thing I want to point out too, and it should have been obvious to a lot of people. You know, what I'm saying, how come there weren't hardly any black competitors on SummerSlam? If you notice that a lot of the black athletes in WWE really haven't been getting no shine like that lately. I wonder what the fuck is that all about. Now you got Bobby Lashley leaving WWE, right? And I think that's a travesty. I'm like, you got a man like Bobby Lashley who's up there with Brock Lesnar, and you don't use him. You got him getting his ass beat by guys like Karrion Kross. Come on, man. Come on, man. You got Jay Cargill and Bianca Belair getting beat uh, by some English doofus females. Come on, man. Come on. Yeah, man. Bobby Lashley, he gone, man. Him and MVP, man. Apparently, they were trying to bring back the Hurt Business, and the WWE basically said no. That's why Bobby Lashley is pretty much gone from WWE. And with them owning the trademark, the Hurt Business, they can't take that nowhere else, which is a goddamn travesty. Because there ain't nobody on that roster Bobby Lashley can't beat. Jay Uso, Jay Uso, in my opinion, should have won Money in the Bank. They wasted the goddamn Money in the Bank contract on Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre didn't need the goddamn Money in the Bank briefcase. He just wasted it on a damn storyline between McIntyre and Punk, and he really didn't need to do that. So, I mean, the black athletes are being super underutilized. Jay Cargill, in my opinion, should be in championship contention right now. Who in that roster that Jay Cargill can't beat? Maybe outside of Bianca Belair, because why is she not in championship contention? Why we got why we got plastic women like Tiffany Stratton in that championship mix? And ain't nothing against Tiffany Stratton, but Jay Cargill is way better than Tiffany Stratton. Street Profits, you got Street Profits being, basically fed to the wolves. Yeah, they're in championship contention. They got them in the championship picture and stuff like that. But every time they're in the championship picture, they always getting beat. These Street Profits like a multiple time tag team champion. Now they're being treated like they're like street jobbers and shit. You say, do I think The Rock is going to pick a side for the bloodline? Um, I can see a situation where The Rock picks a side and then he ends up turning on somebody. Because there's been plans for The Rock and Roman Reigns to go at it at WrestleMania 41. So I can see a situation where Survivor Series, The Rock comes back, turns on Roman Reigns, and and then that gets built up to the eventual matchup at WrestleMania 41. Yeah, Carmelo Hayes taking all kinds of L's, man. He taking L week after week. Like, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, Triple H need to fix that shit. But anyway, so if I had to rate SummerSlam tonight out of 10, no, everybody doing out of 10. I'm gonna do out of 5, right? Because I want to be different. So out of 5, I would give it a 4 out of 5 for SummerSlam. I would give it a 4 out of 5. The reason I can't give it the perfect 5 star, because I could not stand that goddamn match with Braun Breaker and Sami Zayn. I could stand that match. That match was better off for Monday Night Raw, man. For real, they could have saved that match for Monday Night Raw. Oh, you know another person I've been taking L's lately too, even though he not on the main roster, but Trick Williams, man. Trick Williams, the way he lost his championship, I'm like, come on, man. You get a guy from AEW, he been in like 6 weeks, he already win the championship. I'm like, come on, man. The whole thing with Trick Williams was a goddamn travesty, man. But anyway, then that's basically NXT shit. But um, yeah, man, you guys let me know what y'all think, man. SummerSlam 2024, awesome, man. That shit was awesome, bro. Like, I can't wait to see where it's gonna be at next year, right? And I think next year, SummerSlam is gonna be in Indianapolis. For those of you who may not be aware, um, this city of Indianapolis and WWE, they came together on a massive deal to where they're gonna get 3 of the 4 premium live events. So like at some point they're gonna get a Royal Rumble. The Royal Rumble's supposed to be in Indianapolis in January, and they're supposed to get a WrestleMania, and they're gonna get SummerSlam. So, in my opinion, I think next year they're gonna get the Royal Rumble. 2025, I can see them. I can see the WWE bringing SummerSlam back to Indianapolis in 2025. So you get because they get 3. Well, they can't get the WrestleMania next year because that's already going to be in Vegas. So I can see in 2026 or even in 2027 they get Indianapolis gets WrestleMania or whatever like that. But we got to figure out where SummerSlam's going to be at in 2025. We're probably not going to get that answer until like after WrestleMania next year, because typically now I talk about under the Vince McMahon era, we already knew where places going to be at like a year in advance. But with Triple H and Nick Khan taking over, we really not going to know where these premium live events going to be at until like after like one of the major ones is over with, outside of WrestleMania, right? So, and I'm pissed that the Survivor Series is going to be in Vancouver. I'm like, come on, man. I thought y'all said y'all was going to keep it in the United States. Y'all going to keep the goddamn big events in the United States. Now they talk about taking WrestleMania to London. I was like, come on, man. We don't need no goddamn WrestleMania in London. So yeah, 2026 SummerSlam is going to be 2 nights, and it's going to be in Minneapolis. Because we thought we was going to get WrestleMania 41 in Minneapolis, but The Undertaker, let the cat out the bag on that one, saying it was going to be in Vegas. So, I can't wait, man. I cannot. Man, Monday Night Raw is going to be in Baltimore too. Man, I got to find a way to make it to Baltimore on Monday night, bro. I did not know Baltimore Raw was going to be in Baltimore on Monday night. Well, Josh Johnson, I don't mind that, like a Backlash or a Bash at the Beach or whatever, if those bullshit ass pay-per-views go out of the country, so be it. Whatever. Crown Jewel, all that. If they want to have those ones out the country, okay, have at it, Hoss. But the big 4, like Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series, they need to be stateside. At least put it in in the area where give me a fighting chance to make it out there. But if you want to take Backlash and King of the Ring and all them other pay-per-views out the country, I have no problem with that. Because you really want to make the World Wrestling Entertainment brand a global phenomenon, not just something that just something catchy that's just limited to the States. Like how you could have WWE here in the States, but yet you don't go outside the United States. I think that's crazy. Outside of a few bullshit ass house shows. So I like that they're actually taking it global and giving it the global feel, right? Other news, right? It's been revealed that the ESPN play-by-play announcer Joe Tessitore, the guy that does all the top ranked boxing pay-per-views and stuff like that, he's gonna take over sometime in September. He's gonna be on the Raw brand. And basically this is no different what they did with Mauro Ranallo back in 2016 or whatever like that, right? Mauro Ranallo called a whole bunch of boxing matches in his time, and he was widely regarded as one of the best wrestling voices, commentators out there outside of Jim Ross, right? But we're gonna have to see how Joe Tessitore pans out, because Adnan Virk, you suck. But anyway, Dan need to hear there. You guys let me know what y'all think about this, man. Something really good. I cannot wait until Monday night, man. See what the hell is the fallout for SummerSlam, at least the Judgment Day, and then we gotta wait till next Friday for SmackDown, and to see what Roman Reigns and the whole Bloodline saga there. So if you're not subscribed to this channel, make sure to subscribe button, hit the like button, share these videos on your social media platforms. Shouts out to the LDBC. This your man. Scream at me. Heart.